Another day, another batch of news for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. Now, we've been getting little things here and there, stuff talking about a Zelda 40th anniversary, Zelda-themed controllers, and even a whole Switch 2 console, and even just yesterday we talked about The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time getting its ERSB rating, which was E10+. Now, we might actually have the release date for this thing. Now, for me, it's not all that surprising because it's the only month that really makes sense, but I'm talking an actual day as to when this could actually release, and that's November 12th. According to My Nintendo News, Nintendo UK has listed the Sword Kirby and Dragoon amiibo and the Nor DDD and Hydra amiibo for release on the 12th of November. It's kind of crazy that these amiibo still aren't out, but this is nothing new. Nintendo has done this with Smash Brothers in different waves, and there's lots of different accounts where Nintendo has not released amiibo for a specific game for a very long time, even well after the game comes out. One example of this I can give you is the Minoru construct for the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom amiibo came out on September 17th, which was the same exact day as Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. And I believe this has actually happened a few other times in the past before, but yeah, a lot of people are believing this November 12th date, which at first it was listed as November 11th, but changed to November 12th, and then completely taken down altogether, so I don't think this was supposed to be shown off quite yet. And we also know the rest of the lineup for this year. We know September is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, and we know October is Switch Sports Resort. So that leaves the only other month that doesn't have a game, and we know Nintendo hardly ever releases major titles in December. They have a few times with like Xenoblade 2 in 2017, but it's very rare. Let's face it, I think we all had a feeling that Nintendo was going to do it in November, but some more evidence that kind of seems like this could be happening is they changed the date from the 11th to the 12th for those amiibo, and we know Nintendo only drops their new titles on Thursdays now, so this kind of adds up. But what's so crazy about this is Nintendo is going up head-to-head against the Juggernaut, the game that everyone is escaping and getting out of the way of, GTA 6, just a week later on the 19th. If the Ocarina of Time remake actually comes out in November, which makes the most sense, it's gonna probably be before GTA, which is towards the end of the month. And Thanksgiving is the last week, pretty much. So yeah, this really does make sense when you look at it. Plus, Switch Sports Resort comes out at the end of October on the 22nd, so this gives it just enough time to release the remake for Ocarina of Time just a couple weeks later once you get into November. Yeah, I'm believing this. This actually makes a lot of sense to me. Now, there's definitely some questions that comes with this because a lot of people are wondering, one, is Nintendo really seriously going up against a juggernaut of GTA 6, and can they succeed with the remake of Ocarina of Time? And two, how long is it until we actually see this thing? Nintendo's never been a company to be afraid of another opposing company, whether it be another big game or console coming out. Nintendo plays by their own rules and does their own thing. I mean, we see this with everything. Even when E3 was a thing, Nintendo would have their presentation still with everyone else, but they would be the last one and make sure they're completely out of the way and do their own thing. So I don't think anyone really expected them to be afraid of GTA. However, I do think Nintendo was a little afraid, simply due to the fact that there's been rumors from very reliable sources like Nate the Hate that suggested 3D Mario was actually listed as a holiday game, or at least was planned to be, and got pushed back into some time in 2027. This could definitely be the reason why, because GTA and something like a brand new 3D Mario, Nintendo wants to maximize all the profits that they can with something like that. So, I mean, that makes sense. But what about a remake and a game that's already even been remade once on the 3DS? This is kind of a different story. This way, Nintendo's not wasting what could be huge sales of a new title in a popular franchise like the next open world Zelda or the next 3D Mario, but instead they're taking a game which is the highest rated video game of all time, the original that is, and remaking it in modern day standards for the Switch 2. So this is something that's slightly different. Also, I think it's a really good idea for Nintendo to beat GTA 6 to the gun, even if it's just by a week, just to get everybody really excited and jumping on a Zelda for a solid week before they all start talking about GTA 6. But that could also be a bad thing. You could have literally all your hype and momentum die off a week after the game launches because GTA is right around the corner. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like this couldn't go wrong for Nintendo, because GTA is going crazy already just with pre-orders. Newzoo reported that GTA 6 has already generated roughly 180 million in digital pre-order sales across the US and the 5 largest European markets in just its first week. That is just in pre-orders. Based on the pre-order sales curve GTA 6 is most likely to follow, this puts the game on pace for $3.3 billion to $5.2 billion in cumulative global sales by the end of the launch week. That marks the strongest opening to a pre-order campaign ever recorded in our dataset. So no matter how you feel about GTA and how big The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is, and even with the OG being rated the best game of all time, it's still going up against a monster house here. So what does Nintendo do? I don't think they need to do really anything. Of course they need a holiday game. They can't just go this year without having a holiday game, year 2 of the Switch 2. This is something that they were going to have to come up against regardless. And I think what they decided to do is actually a pretty good idea. As much as I want 3D Mario, I kind of want that spotlight to be all, I really want that spotlight to be all on 3D Mario, or even if it was a 3D Zelda or something. So having it all on a remake that's kind of competing against GTA, we know it's not going to outbeat GTA with sales or anything like that, but it is going to stand its test of time. Also, considering the fact that GTA is a very different game. You got to think of it like this as well. This is the holiday season, and a lot of kids are probably still going to be playing GTA somehow. They're going to, their parents are going to get it for them. That's just how it goes. That's how it was when I was growing up. Not my parents, though. They didn't play that. I still don't really play GTA just off of preference. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of kids that are asking for Zelda instead, because obviously, when you look at the 2 big holiday games this year, a remake of one of the best Zelda games of all time from Nintendo or GTA 6, most kids will probably choose the remake of one of the most popular Zelda games of all time, and the old heads will probably for sure choose the Zelda game instead. It's the game they grew up with since they were kids. This is just nostalgia bait all the way, especially if there's a Zelda 40th anniversary themed console controller coming like the rumors are suggesting. I mean, it's Zelda's 40th anniversary after all, so they would also have to be passing up on that if they did get too scared of GTA, and obviously Nintendo doesn't care all that much. They're still going to have their holiday game, they're still going to celebrate Zelda, and it looks like it could very well be coming out on November 12th, which is still around 4 months from now, which is a long time, and that's why I'm also getting worried for the actual reveal of this game. There's been a lot of rumors saying that we're not going to get anything until September, like from Necro Felipe. Personally, I was always on Team August. I felt like that made a lot of sense since there wasn't a lot going on this month, but I'm starting to think maybe Nintendo is going to wait until September, because it still is very early for them to show off this game. I mean, November is still a whiles away. We didn't even really see much at all from GTA 6, so they're still holding out. It seems like Nintendo's going to continue to do so as well. I think Nintendo is in good hands here, and I don't think there's anything to really worry about. I think this game is going to do well regardless of GTA 6 or not. I just really want to see this thing, and I'm really hoping we see it sooner than later. I mean, all this stuff coming out, like the possible release date, we have the ESRB rating, so it seems like it's getting closer and closer and closer. Hopefully some type of reliable source can give us some information as to when this thing is going to be revealed. Let me know down below when you think this thing is going to be shown off again, and thank you so much for tuning in. Jesus loves you, and I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.